Yeah, I decided to hit the update finally on my tablet, so it's just.
Oh, yikes.
Hi, welcome to Punks on Film. My name is Lawrence, a punk with toys, and I'm once again with my co-host Matthew. How are you doing?
Doing great. Wearing my Ghostbuster shirt. I wore my Ghostbuster socks today too, so I'm all ready.
The Ghostbusters. You know what? I got. Listen, this is a movie that I have seen. I know we normally go through this where it's like you haven't seen this movie. I have seen the movie. I don't hate the movie. I'm not in love with it like so many other people. Um, but as I watch it, it aged pretty well, to be honest. Quick, let me
Yeah,
close this
I
door.
think the special effects are really great. The cloud effects that they use is still one of the best cloud effects that you can ever do on film. Better than CGI cloud effects, and I just think this some of the special effects are great. The story's great. The comedic timing is brilliant. I really enjoy it. So
Rewatching, I really realize it is a Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray movie. Uh,
oh, Harold Ramis had everything to do with this.
but
Uh,
I mean, like
he,
actor wise, they were the focal points.
oh yeah, oh
I
yeah,
mean, that's
for
what I
sure.
mean. Like they were the focal points. And let's say I had a PNC. I gotta say, so just so you guys know, off topic, PNC will be the next guest next Thursday for uh, Thursday with a friend. I was actually working on the thumbnail earlier today, and then now it's just sitting on my phone waiting for me to finish. So if you're gonna bail on me, tell me now, PNC. But unless I'm asking, we're going to. Um, but I enjoy the movie. There's no doubt about it. But I'll say this: like if this was on or Top Gun, I'd watch Top Gun. Of course nowadays you don't have to do that. But if it was
Right.
on TV, if this or Roadhouse was on, I would watch Roadhouse. If this or Indiana Jones was on, I'd watch this because I've seen this.
We're gonna make you watch Indiana Jones. We are.
I don't have a problem with watching it at all. I just have never actually sat down and watched it. Like I've never sat down and watched the Lethal Weapons, which will be the next movie that Matthew will be talking about with Tony Romo because I will be here, but I will be leaving the next day for a nice long drive down to Florida. So for the next 2 episodes, I gotta say episodes, not 2 weeks. I won't be here. As of now, it's going to be Matthew and Tony Romo that will be filling in um, for me. Now, how Matthew decides to do it, that's on him. If he wants to show slides, he can show slides. If he doesn't, he doesn't have to. But before we get into the movie, so is there anything that you have been watching?
I started watching My Adventures with Superman, little animated thing. It's okay. It's just an animated Superman show. It's super American anime style, so it's got some weirdness to it. But my favorite Superman show that's on TV right now is still Superman and Lois. But other than that, no, I've been waiting to go to the movies. I want to see Mission Impossible 7. I want to see Asteroid City. We saw Sound of Freedom. That's a whole other bailiwick there, but
Someone told me about that. I actually have it on my phone because I was like, huh. I'm like, what is this? And I want to see that now.
it's a hard to watch movie. I think a lot of people need to see it, but because it's based on true events and they embellish a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty accurate to the storyline. And it's I don't know, something that I've been talking about with people for about 15 years and trying to get people to pay attention and listen to it. So this is an opportunity to open the eyes
Something
of
else.
some people, but people don't want to look at it because it's hard to look at.
Yeah, something else. I probably won't go to the movies to see it, but um,
Yeah.
this Mission Impossible. My son's birthday is Saturday, so I believe we are going to be doing that. is he loves Tom Cruise. He doesn't realize how crazy he really is, but I don't care. Tom Cruise has amazing movies.
His movies are awesome, man. You can't doubt him for his movies.
Dude,
but beyond that, I don't. You know.
Listen, I don't care. He doesn't hurt anyone from what I can see. You know, he doesn't hurt anyone from what I can see. You know, so
except
to
for the
me,
fact that he'll only date girls between 25 and 35, and then he gets rid of them and gets another one.
Yeah, but you know what? I've been single for so long. I'm starting to wonder if that's the way I should go. So, have you watched The Bear yet on Hulu?
The Bear? No, I saw Cocaine Bear. That was awesome.
Nothing to do with Cocaine Bear. If you have Hulu, you need to check out The Bear. It is such a good TV show. It is about.
Nice. I have recently heard something about it, but yeah, what is it?
So what it is, it's not a comedy, but it's also not a drama. It's I think roughly between like 30 and 36 minutes each episode. It's a guy. He becomes he leaves his family basically as a young adult. He leaves his family, becomes a world-renowned chef, and then his brother ends up committing suicide and leaves this hole in the restaurant to him. This hole in the wall restaurant to him. He comes back and he doesn't want to have anything to do with his family right now, but his cousin has been running it, and everyone that is in the show, they do such a wonderful job of you care about each and every single one of these characters.
Yeah,
and
nice.
It's on season 2, and it's one of those ones where you'll sit down and you'll watch right through it. I mean, it's really good, and it's they're in Chicago, in what they're doing and everything, but you really feel for every single person that is there. So it's not one of those where it's like, oh, okay, no laugh tracks, there is comedy in it, but you have a real sense of feeling for every single one of them. And I think it's something that you would definitely enjoy. Let's see if we can get this up here. And then I've been watching, and I didn't realize.
Hey, I figured something out.
What?
PNC, I made a Cocaine Bear snow globe.
Oh. And then Digital Diarrhea is here. As I mentioned, he will be on Thursday with a Friend in a few weeks. In 6 weeks. But I gotta get PNCs done first, and then do Sharks.
Oh, you got Shark? Awesome.
No, Shark Eyes.
You're right, Shark Eyes. Yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah.
And then I was watching Lincoln Lawyer, because I watched Lincoln Lawyer when it came, like the first season, and then I thought it was over, and then I see the second season, and I'm like, oh, so I've been watching that the past few days, and I'm just like, God, this guy's banging some hot chicks, man. Like his 2 ex-wives, and I love like on his phone. Have you watched it?
No.
Like it's on Netflix. His phone, every time like he works with his second ex-wife, he's a lawyer obviously, and his first wife is a lawyer that he has a kid with, and every time like one of them calls, it will say like first ex-wife, second ex-wife. Like names are not in it. All right, so let's get into this, because if not, we'll be here for until 2:30 a.m.
Well,
hi to Viper Scout really quick.
What's up, Viper Scout? As we're getting into this, I just got to say that I really love the comedic timing in this movie. There's so many quick-witted back and forths, and the 3 main characters are comedy writers, comedy legends. So their timing, the way they build off each other is amazing. And then you throw people like Rick Moranis in there, and Sigourney Weaver picked it up real quick. I think all of them work together so well. It made a great cast, and I really do enjoy this movie quite a bit.
I think there is absolute wonderful comedic timing between them. It's not over the top.
Right.
Um,
As a kid, I didn't know it was a comedy. I didn't pick up on half the humor until later.
yeah, I think we get a lot of that. And when we're younger, that we don't realize exactly how much comedy is in something. Um, but yeah, it's again, it's timed pretty good. So anyway, let's pull up the slides here and oh wait a minute.
Oh, wrong movie! No.
Not this one. I'm sorry, guys. If you have not seen this movie, don't.
That's terrible.
But what I will say about this is Thor right there is the only good part of this whole movie.
I mean, the comedy was so different, and from what Ghostbusters comedy is, it just didn't work. It was too much slapstick, and
But he is hilarious when he reaches through his glasses and his eyes.
I thought what's her name, McKinnon. I thought she was funny in that the nerd Egon character.
Yeah, but it was just. I mean, yeah, it just that they tried to recreate the same movie.
Yeah, but they can't. Yeah, different people, different timing, different comedy. Paul Feig just couldn't do it.
But then tried to make it seem like it's in like it's kind of a reboot, but it's kind of not, and that's why when
they had all the actors back for that movie.
Yeah,
because they were all in it. And Harold Ramis in a statue form, but everybody else was in it.
Yeah. Again, it was just one of those like, and that's why like they got mad when they said Ghostbusters 3, and they're like, really, that's Ghostbusters 4, and it's like, not really.
Yeah, not really. And they just started production on the next Ghostbusters after Afterlife.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I really liked Afterlife.
I did too. I did too. It's one of my most liked pictures from whenever that movie came out.
Yeah, it's a really good movie and fun, and it works in the story.
It does. It kind of makes that epitaph for these characters. The comics did a great job, and I wish that somebody would adapt some of those comic things that they did. But I thought Afterlife was pretty good.
It's kind of, to me, it kind of feels like what Cobra Kai has done for Karate Kid. Like it's completely different, but it fits. Like you don't look at Cobra Kai and be like, "Oh, this is awful." You're just trying to look like it. The storyline is really good, and they did a good job of fitting in the original characters that you care about, and then making these younger characters so you learn to care about them.
Yeah, Viper Scout. I kind of agree with you. That video game was pretty awesome, and it probably should be considered Ghostbusters 3.
A lot of people say that, don't they?
Yeah, that video is good.
So we're learning things, guys.
I just figured that out because this is the first time that I have my PC off to the side and I'm in StreamYard using my PC.
Can you change? Can you change the slide? Probably
yes.
not.
Yeah, no, I can.
Oh, you can move the slide.
I can. Yeah.
Oh, well, shit. Why am I doing anything then? All right. Well, let's get into the non-sexy librarian then.
Oh, hold on. I got to start with the opening. The opening of this right here is classic movie genre stuff. Do you know what a theremin is?
I do not.
Okay, it's a musical instrument that is played by waving your hand like this. Okay, so it sends waves through the air, and you stick your hand in the wave pattern, and you manipulate the wave pattern by moving your hands, and it makes this really creepy, ethereal type of sound. and it was used in old timey horror movies, and that is the first thing you hear when this movie opens up. And then they start in with some of the music, and then you get to the old librarian.
Yes, a non-sexy librarian. Ruins all of our fantasies. So here she is. God bless her little heart. She looked like she was 90 back then. She was probably 40, because 40-year-olds back then seemed so old.
She played an old woman throughout her entire career. I can't find a movie that she wasn't in where she didn't play an old woman.
So she's basically just, they show her walking, and I think it's a wonderful setup because it's not too much. It's focusing on no characters yet, no main characters. And, here she is walking. Guy does not like the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah, apparently not. Whoever this ghost is, they hate the Dewey Decimal System. Kids, it's the way we cataloged books back in the day.
And I'm just glad that I was able to say Dewey Decimal System, not in Arnold Schwarzenegger's fake accent from UHF.
We need to do UHF. We do need to do that.
We had it up there, and people voted against it.
Well, so we got to pick all those ones that didn't get voted on and recycle them, put them back in the queue.
Sometimes we got to come up with cards and just be like, all right, we're using our card to pick our movie. So
yeah.
But there's books that are lined up when she turns around, and then when she comes around the corner, freaking out, she sees the ghost, and it's kind of funny because if you don't watch the movie a lot, you think that they show the ghost here, and they don't show the ghost. They don't show the ghost till later.
Yeah, she just walks into the light show with them blowing on her. She's lights and fans. That's all you see. And that's a great storytelling motif that people need to learn more about. Is don't show the creature until you absolutely have to.
Yeah, and you don't think about it now, and like I said, because I knew what the creature, I knew what the ghost looked like. I just always thought she sees it. We see the ghost. Well, we don't see it still for a while.
Yeah, PNC, we'll get there.
Yeah.
And then you get the Ray Parker music starting up, and then you get the logo, and I love it because they set it all up together. You got the song, you got the logo, and then you pan in on the college, and it's like the psychiatric department, paranormal with graffiti written all over it saying "Burn in Hell, Venkman." So you're like, okay, maybe a disreputable professor here. And then you see Egon Spengler, Ray Stantz, and Peter Venkman, all the doctors for that department, as you go through, and then you get to see wonderful Peter Venkman.
And you learn really quickly that he is a slime ball.
Total slime ball. Unethical, unscientific slime ball.
And I love
any randomized control trial, any experiment that you have to do, any participants that are involved in that have to be aware of the experiment parameters before agreeing to it, because they have to have consent. This kid clearly didn't have consent.
I love the giant cards.
Yeah.
But his acting is wonderful.
Yeah.
He does a wonderful job of acting like he's acting,
Yes. Yeah.
Because when you watch it, you're like, he's so full of it, but he's acting like he's can you see through these? And they're both looking at it.
Yeah.
So here's the wavy lines, and I think it's funny.
So you got to set it up because he's pulling up cards and he gets it wrong, so he gets the shock.
Yeah.
The girl gets it wrong and she gets praise. The guy gets it wrong, he gets a shock. The girl gets it wrong, she gets praise. Pulls up the wavy line card and he gets the vision.
Yeah.
And
then when he gets it right,
he still gets shocked. And this is when he loses it. He's like, "What the heck? What's the name of this experiment?" And basically, he tells him he's trying to create a psychic response based on negative feedback. And it actually worked. Yeah.
And then he's like, what was it like? Only 70 more to go.
Yeah.
Only 70 more to go. And here she is, like all happy
Well,
when she
yeah.
fully got it wrong. I don't remember.
Well,
They might be out of order because,
a little bit. That's right.
but like
But
she
yeah,
gets it completely wrong.
and she gets all the praise about how wonderful she is, and can you see these cars, or what's going on? Yeah.
With that said, I would have probably not wanted a zapper either. Well, I take that back. I would have wanted a zapper, but not like that. I just like this one when he's like telling him to think.
Yeah.
But you get the
Not
guy
your
he
lucky
flips
day.
out about the $5. He's
The
like, you keep the $5.
$5. You can keep the $5.
Which even back then wasn't that much money to get zapped 75 times in a row.
Yeah, I mean, but he didn't know that he was going to get zapped, right? I mean, clearly this wasn't done. But you can see it on Bill Murray's face through his acting when he says you can keep the $5. He's like, oh, I will. I'm going to use it to take this girl on a date. Because then he's got to console the girl and tell her that people will resent you for your abilities. You're so special.
And she does a wonderful job of playing just a naive blonde.
Yes.
A stereotypical naive blonde that, oh my God, yeah, okay,
Do you think I have it, Dr. Venkman? You're no fluke, Jennifer. And here comes the big goofy kid to interrupt everything.
Which I don't have a picture of because I couldn't find one. So
yeah.
So he comes.
Yeah, he busts in, super excited. This is it.
So yeah, he comes in super excited, and so this is when we first get to actually meet Ray Stantz. And you can tell that Venkman is just aggravated.
Yeah, you're messing up the vibe, man. Come on.
And you can tell he doesn't really
lay it down.
He doesn't really believe in it or anything.
Not at all.
But I do have to say, there's a lot of issues that time doesn't really mean anything in this movie.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about that in a little bit, but yeah, time just kind of zooms by. Yeah. Ray describes the incident, getting into scientific definitions of free floating vapors and all that stuff. Peter's like, go check it out. And Ray's like, no, you have to come. Spengler went down there and talking about all this other technical bullshit that we don't know anything about. And said, we're close on this one. It's like, he goes back and talks to the girl. And he's like, I'd like to work with you again later this evening. Perhaps you could come back. And she's like, at 8:00? You read my mind. I was just going to say that.
Thank you. I could not figure out where I knew her from. And the moment you said that, I went, that's right.
Of our days and our lives.
I would not have known that, but I remember Charles in Charge.
That was the next line in the song.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Charles in Charge is one of those movies that you realize, like, the first family sold the house with him.
Yes.
That would not fly today. Like, they sold the house with Charles. Yeah, so they get to the library, and I couldn't find any pictures of him knocking on the table.
Yeah, but you can totally tell Peter doesn't believe any of this stuff. He's the skeptic of the group, for lack of a better term. But he's less than a skeptic. He's just a lazy bum that doesn't want to do anything.
That's probably the best way to put it. He's lazy. He's going to use whatever he can to hit on women and hopefully get with one or two.
Yeah.
Or
whatever works out.
And we'll see that a little bit more throughout this, because
I love how he comes up. He does the whole bam and startles Spengler and they're going along talking about the great sponge migration and how everybody's stupid, and Peter's trying to bring him back down to earth. And says, this reminds me that you wanted to drill a hole in your head when he's talking to Egon. He says, that would have if you hadn't stopped me.
I don't think you could get away with that today either, saying something like that.
Oh, there's a lot of things that they get away with that you couldn't get away with today, like later on when Ray's dream happened, or ghost encounter.
We have that.
Yes, this conversation is awesome with the librarian, and she's being psychoanalyzed, and Peter has legitimate questions. They are legitimate questions that you ask somebody under duress when they've experienced something that traumatic.
Yeah, but he clearly says it in a very sarcastic way.
Of course, but still, they are legitimate questions to ask somebody. Ray's super excited about all of it, and Peter's trying to, bring him back down to earth and ask the crazy people questions. Does your family have a history of schizophrenia, mental incompetence? Well, my uncle thought he was St. Jerome. I'd call that a big yes. Do you habitually use drugs or alcohol?
Which again, I'm looking at her like, you're old as hell. But I'm guessing, looking at, these guys were probably younger than us, right? When they did this movie?
Probably.
And we don't look that old.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
The more and more I see people like the dad from Elf, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, no.
He was like in his 40s. And I'm like,
right?
He looks like he's 20 years older than me.
Right. Exactly.
That was before the drug issues.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
So maybe I missed it, but where did they have all the equipment to hunt ghosts from?
Well, they were scientists. They worked at the university. So later on, there's a whole lot hilarious when about it and here in a little bit. But yeah, they're funded by the university, got grant money, and so they can do whatever they want with that grant money. And they've come up with these things, and a lot of the vernacular was written by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, because Dan Aykroyd was really into ghosts. He actually has a whole ghost hunting type of business, like in reality. Oh, wow. And along with his Blues Brothers, his blues band thing that he has in South Carolina, he's always been on the paranormal talking shows, talking points, that kind of stuff. He's a huge believer. So his excitement in this movie is legitimate excitement, because he's such a big believer in all of that stuff.
That I did not know. But they're like walking through, and again, you like your vape bin, and he's just like.
Back to the questions. The one really, the last one that got me. Alice, are you menstruating right now? The director's like, what does that have to do with anything? Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
So here's where we come to, where the Dewey Decimal System is completely jacked up. They come across the slime.
Yep. So yeah, they're going down
plasma.
there. Peter doesn't care about any of this stuff. They see the stack of books. The stack of books. Because no human would ever stack books like that. and then Ray says, listen, do you smell something?
So there's a lot that happens here.
And the slime that Egon's so excited about. Make sure that you get me a sample.
So they come around the corner and they see the ghost, who is clearly the librarian from Attack of the Clones.
Yes, she is.
She is clearly the Jedi librarian. Like,
yep.
You see her and you're like, oh, so she did die.
That's holocron form. That's her holocron.
And the fact that she's a librarian there. And
they get super excited about seeing the freeform aberration. And they keep pulling each other aside. They see it, they go back and have their little chit chat back and forth. And Peter realizes nobody has any clue about what we're supposed to do with this.
And honestly, like the special effects look really good.
Yeah. That's what happens when you do things with practical effects, folks. Practical effects look amazing.
But she tells them, shh.
Yeah.
So then they
go back
which one.
Well, because Peter goes out to try and talk to her, and then they have to go back because she's like, shh. Where are you from originally? Shh. That's when they freak out, and Ray's like, okay, I've got a plan. Follow me, back me up, do what I tell you. Come on, let's go. And they sneak up on the ghost. Get her!
And then you see again, like, it looks really good and would be horrifying. Horrifying.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's no joke.
I would not be going back to the library, but I don't go to libraries anyway, so I'm safe.
We know you don't read, Lawrence. We know.
No, I don't. If it's not good enough to be made into a movie, it wasn't good enough to read. It's always been my thinking. If the movie was that good, if the book was that good, they make it into a movie.
And they go running, screaming out of the whole place, and the director follows them, questioning them. Hey, what's going on? The walking in the park stuff is good banter that they have there. Get her when they start bagging on each other, teasing each other about what's going on. And they're joking. Ray's super excited. Do you know how big this is going to be? And Peter's like, yeah, we'll be bigger than the microchip. And they're really tiny. And then they go back and forth about capturing ghosts and holding ghosts. Because of this new readings, Egon's got all kinds of things going off in his head about how he would capture or retain one of these ghosts and what they would do with them. And, they get into a whole bunch of nerd talk. And then Peter's like, wait, are you serious about this catching ghosts thing? I think I can sell that, is running through his head. Because that's all he's worried about, is making money on the next. And Spengler's like, I'm always serious. And then Peter gives Egon this is a thing. And, it's his praise. He gives him candy, and he acts like a Pavlov's kids or something like that as he takes the candy, and he's like, oh, yay. And now we return back to the college when the dean is waiting for them.
So what was the reason the dean wanted? I understand why they wanted Venkman out, but was there a reason for the other ones that I missed?
So most likely Venkman's name was the top name on the billing of the grant, and he's like the lead scientist doctor in the program. And because the other two are the subordinates, so to speak, it all falls on Venkman. And so, he's the one in charge, he's the one controlling this, and he's the one that they have the most problem with. Also, something that Ray says later, he's like, I liked being at the university. They gave us money and facilities, and we didn't have to do anything. Well, he said produce anything. But if you go out in the real world, they expect results.
But I think the snarky dude, like, I think his attitude was really nice. Just the way he, like, the snarkiness worked here. You know? You could tell, like, this guy had wanted him gone for quite some time. And now he has this relief, like, you're gone. You're not my problem anymore.
Yep. Yeah, this conversation here, when they're talking about what are we gonna do, and Peter's like, you're always worried about reputation. Einstein did his best work when he was a patent clerk. So they go through some facts about some stuff. That's when they get all on the thing I just told you. And then Peter gets all excited, call it fate, call it luck, call it karma. This is enticing us to go on to the next step in our lives, which, every closed door leaves another one open. So there's always that kind of philosophy. So that conversation was, good to get them bolstered into moving on to the next phase in their life.
Yeah. Which actually does work.
And guess what? All of this has happened, and we're only 15 minutes into the movie. This all happened in 15 minutes, and it's a great story already. And it's 15 minutes. This is an hour and a half movie. You can do it, Hollywood, an hour and a half and tell a good story. I'm just saying.
Again, they also ignore time because
oh yeah,
a lot happens in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that is true.
But when they come out of getting the money,
yep, they go to the bank and Peter says, "You're never going to regret this, Ray." And Ray's like, "That's the house I grew up in. My parents left that to me. It's basically, it's all he has left is his family home that he just triple mortgaged. He put the third mortgage on the house so they could get the money to do this. So they're banking everything on it."
But his line of "everyone has 3 mortgages." I'm like,
well, and he goes on to say, these. Can you imagine the possibilities of this Ghostbusting thing? We can pick up the franchise possibilities alone will make us rich. Which is the basis for some of the comic books by IDW that were awesome. I love those. But anyway.
Say hi to Payne really quick.
What's up, Payne? And Allison Troy joined us.
Allison. All right, so I really wish I
get to the firehouse.
Yeah.
So the next scene is the firehouse, and I thought this was awesome. They did everything. How Peter and Egon are just unimpressed with everything.
You realize this more as an adult.
Yeah.
As a kid, you're like, I don't really get it, but
right.
You don't show how interested you really are.
Yep.
Because then they know they have you.
Yep.
And here they are, like, I'm not sure, and then here comes Ray.
Sliding down the fire pole. Woohoo! Like a little kid. This place is great. We got to stay the night. Come on, we got to do this. And then Peter's got to be as cool as possible and says, I think we'll take it. And she's like, yep.
And I cannot place where this woman is from. I know I've seen her in other things.
She's been in a bunch of other things. For a second, I thought she was Rita Perlman, but that's not her. So
no, I didn't look it up.
She's been in a lot of other things. She always plays the same, New York or New Jersey, type of lady. Yeah.
But there's something specific that I wanted to say the Karate Kid, but she's not Daniel's mom.
Mm-mm. No. And then we see the creepy building. We get the creepy music. And we see Dana and her groceries and her cello. And then we meet her annoying neighbor.
PNC, when he asked, does this pole still work? It's a pole.
What, you like sliding on Ray's pole?
So here's where we meet Dana and Lewis.
And Lewis, yeah, in his tracksuit, all health and fitness conscious.
And she's totally trying to sneak by him.
Absolutely. But you could tell he was waiting for her. Like 3 times in this movie, you see that he's waiting to hear that door open or close so he can just come out of his apartment.
Yep. And he pretty much traps her in and saying, well, you know what, maybe we'll stop by. He says, okay. And to him, that was
No, that didn't happen yet. That's not this one. That's not this encounter.
Oh, no, that's right.
No, this is all just about him being, going to the drugstore. Oh, no, I'm not sick. I just wanted more vitamins, you know me and my health food stuff. And she's like, yeah, I do. You want to come over for some mineral water and stuff? And and all this other stuff. And then he's like telling her about the TV and what he did for her. He's like, oh yeah, one of the neighbors complained about your TV being on, and so I turned mine on really loud, and I'm just trying to do the whatever. And she's like, bye bye, and close it. And she's like, I didn't know I left my TV on.
Hi, buddy.
But yeah, she closes the door to his face, and then Lewis goes back to his apartment and realizes he locked himself out.
Yep.
What's up, Roman?
What do you want? You want to say hi to everyone here? Say hi. Here we go. Say hi. All right, there we go.
What's up, Roman?
Listen, she literally just let you out. I know because I heard her go downstairs and I called for her. Like you need to leave me alone. Like seriously, I was on a call with Allison for over 2 hours yesterday, and he didn't bother me once. He knows that I'm doing.
He can't even get out anymore. He just got scared by the box.
Come on, go.
Allison, we've always had those people. We all have had neighbors that we just say, meh.
I call them all my neighbors.
Why are you getting permission?
And to add to James Lucas really quick here.
Yep, I do that. Yeah.
Oh,
what's up, man?
I had a dog that was bothering me.
Yep.
So then we see her apartment.
And guess what's on the TV when she walks in?
The commercial.
The very first Ghostbusters commercial.
Which I have that.
Believe you.
Yeah, I have the three of them, obviously out of order because I found it later on and I tried putting it where I needed it, but who knows?
And then you see her surprised at this commercial, and then like, yeah, what is this nonsense? And then turns it off at the end of the commercial. That's when she brings her bags of grocery into the kitchen and starts unloading them.
Who leaves their eggs on the counter though?
She's just taking them out of the bag. I don't know. Maybe she's going to put them in the refrigerator soon. Or I don't know what she's going to do. Sometimes people don't put them in the refrigerator. But this is also the first time we see the marshmallows, the Stay Puft marshmallows. That's number one. Remember,
I noticed that
in threes.
I noticed that for the first time.
Yep.
I did not notice it before, but I noticed it when I was watching it this time.
Yeah, and then then the eggs start popping, cracking, and then all of a sudden the refrigerator says Zool.
Yeah, and then what's funny is that my daughter, she has a friend named Zool. It's not spelled. I don't believe it's spelled the same.
Right.
But she went out with her like last year, and she told me her friend's name, and I'm like Zool, like from Ghostbusters. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
there is no Dana, only Zool.
Oh man, let's see here.
And then we go to the banner.
Yeah. So this was what, like I said, I had it out of order.
Yeah.
I knew that she had seen it.
Yeah. So she's seen the commercial.
Awesome.
And then we go back to the banner, and Venkman's like, as they're hanging it, not too subtle, is it? Ray drives up with the ambulance hearse with the sirens on it, saying that he paid $4,800 for a car that still needs that much work. Even in 1984, that sounds pretty high.
But that made me think, was he just trying to sell himself parts for Zelensky Auto from Tommy Boy? Because that's exactly what I saw was Zelensky Auto, and I was like, is he selling himself parts? Like, he's double dipping in this.
Maybe so. Hey, you got to make that money back to pay that mortgage, that triple mortgage. And then you see Janine, and Peter comes up and is like, any calls, any messages, enemy customers? And she's like, no, type something. We're paying for this. And then then he's like, "Don't stare at me with those bug eyes." And then as he's walking back, he says, "Janine, sorry about the bug eyes comment. I'll be in my office."
She is a wonderful, wonderful role in this.
It's her. Yeah, I love her role.
She's not crammed into it.
No.
She fits seamlessly into it. She has her comic relief because she's very dry about everything. She doesn't want to be there, like most receptionists. So I mean, I think she does a wonderful job.
But you can tell that she does stick around because there's something more here than what she's ever gotten before.
Yeah,
that too. But I think that they're probably paying her fairly decently.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got 3 mortgages. You might as well spend some of them. But remember,
but what's even funnier is that as soon as Peter goes back there, as soon as he's off camera, who comes out from under the desk?
Yes. Which is another one of those things you don't realize as a kid.
He says, "You're very handy. I can tell. I bet you like to read a lot too." And what does Egon say? "Print is dead." This was 1984 or whatever. He's already saying print is dead because digital is where it's going.
Yeah, well, he also talks about hobbies he collects, and I'd say that's not one that ever caught on.
Well, but Janine gives her dating profile here. You know, she likes to read. People think that she's maybe a little too intellectual. She plays racquetball. Do you have any hobbies? I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
It's so dry. Like, it's such a dry line. I love. I mean, he's wonderful in this. Like
Harold Ramis. I mean, he wrote most of the script, and you can tell that. I mean, he has a great love for this comedic type of timing. If you've seen any of his others, I mean, we've talked about his other movies that he's done too. But then Dana walks in, and there's nobody there. Like, hello, anybody home? Walking by, and walks right by Ray working on the car. Ray doesn't give a crap. He's just working on the car. And Janine is actually startled by her coming in. It's like, "Oh, hey, there's somebody here. Where'd you come from?" And she's like, "Oh, excuse me. Is this the Ghostbusters?" And then, before Janine can do anything, Peter's like a gopher. He pops his head up and then flies over the railing. Hey, there's a girl talking.
That's exactly it. Like, he jumps right over it. Doesn't eat shit, which is good.
Yes.
Which tells me that they are younger than we are right now. Because if I tried jumping over something, I would eat shit.
Not me. I do it all the time.
I feel like I could do it, but I wouldn't be able to. No,
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so Dana tells her story with the little stickers on her head, and you see the thermal readings as Egon's looking at everything.
So these are kind of like EKGs here, you know? So, quick funny story. One of my coworkers, he shoots this over to me and he goes, "Look what I found in the top of the copier." And it was one of the EKG things stuck inside the document feeder. And I'm like, man, I've seen a lot of stuff, but I've never seen an EKG, whatever they are, stuck in. Like, I don't even know how. We see a lot of stupid stuff. Like, how did you get the EKG monitor or whatever it is inside of it? And James Lucas, yes, Galaxy Quest. She looks extremely hot.
I saw Alien back in the day. I've always had a thing for her, showing her butt crack on the movie screen.
But Galaxy Quest really.
Well, she had the half zip.
It really emphasizes certain aspects of her.
It definitely does. Yes. And then they go over their theories while she's talking, and Egon's like, a race memory, telepathic contact, past life theory. And it's like, Dana's like, I don't believe in any of this crap. What are you guys talking about? And Peter lays a line of BS on her. And then basically insinuates, hey guys, help me out here. We got to work this deal here. What are we going to do? And then Ray's like, I can go to the Hall of Records and look up the building parameters. And Peter's like, right, good idea. Go do that. And Egon's like, I could look up Zool and the usual sources. And Ray spats up space catalog. And Egon's like, Tobin's spirit guide. And then Peter's like, I'll take Miss Barrett back to her place and check her out. I'll go check out Miss Barrett's place. And then he's like,
so they go to her house, and I think the whole chemistry between them is awesome. She clearly doesn't want to have him around at all.
Nope, no interest at all.
He knows it, but doesn't care.
Yep, not at all.
Which I think is great. Like, the fact that he's acting like he knows that she does not care, but is acting like he cares it shows what a good actor he really is.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but there's a movie called Lost in Translation. And I think that's one of Bill Murray's greatest movies. And it's hilarious if you watch the movie. It's even funnier if you actually know Japanese.
I've never seen it. Shocker, right?
Well, yeah, but basically he plays a salesman who's a whiskey salesman for commercials in Japan. So they hire him to fly over to Japan and make whiskey commercials. And so he's being typical Bill Murray doing his thing. And what he says doesn't get translated to the Japanese people. And what the Japanese people say to the translator doesn't get translated back to him exactly as stated, because they would be killing each other.
And I can tell you that happens in manuals too, because when we would go down for training, back when we had manuals and everything was digital, they would always have us go, I want you to go to this page here and read what that says. And it would be something so out of the, had nothing to do with copy machines. And it'd be like, yeah, the translation didn't come over that well here.
Yeah.
But they go in, he's just looking around.
Peter looks at every room except for the
Yes.
one that they're talking about. And he's got this little thing.
He goes to the bedroom.
Oh, that's the best one.
And her line is, nothing happened here.
Nothing ever happens in here. What a crime.
Which, again, like his timing. Now, she also says she hasn't been back in 2 days.
Yeah.
So the eggs have been sitting there for 2 days.
But they're cooked. They're cooked on the counter. It's okay.
Yeah. But still disgusting. Still really bad.
And basically, he's feeling the vibe, and he's like, I should check out the kitchen. You should check out the kitchen. And then here's where we see the Stay Puft marshmallow bag for the second time. So this is part 2. So we have one more Stay Puft thing to come.
And again, I never noticed that until watching it the first time. This time.
Yeah.
And then she talks about the refrigerator.
Yep. And he opens it up. Oh my God. The junk food. You actually eat this stuff?
Which I don't find him as a health conscious nut.
No, but he's smart enough to know what junk food is and make fun of somebody else for it, even if it's what he does.
Yes.
And Dana is just trying to justify everything. She's like, I need to get these people to believe me. This actually happened. She's all freaking out, and he's like, it's like, either I have a monster in my kitchen or I'm completely crazy. And it's like, you're not crazy. And she's like, great. Because now she has a monster in her kitchen with this stupid tool that he doesn't even know how it works.
Oh, man.
And that's when he goes to the full-on, I'm going for it move. Yes, we both have the same problem. You. And then he drops the bomb. I'm madly in love with you. And she's like, get out.
Which is a wonderful way of like when you know someone wants you gone. Now
Yeah.
you're just throwing stupid stuff out there.
You just got to throw it all out there. And then he's like, he makes the deal with her. He's like, I know, I'm going to solve this problem for you. I'm going to figure it out. You're going to love me, and I'm going to do this. And she's like, yep, fine. Okay, go on. Get out. Just go. And then okay, so yeah, they've got to have dinner, right?
They're eating Chinese.
They're eating Chinese food. They're eating whatever food they got, and it's like, this is our first customer. It's great. You know, I think I really need to take her out to dinner. So I need some of the petty cash. This is the last of our petty cash. This food we have here, this is all we have. And they're like, oh, shit, we're fucked. And then the phone rings.
And then she yells, we got one.
We got one. She was also surprised. And you see the scramble, everybody freaking out. Ray going all goofy down the pole. And you get to see Ecto 1. Boom, they unveil Ecto 1 and it comes flying out.
Even when they're going down, Venkman is still eating. He still has his food.
Mm-hmm.
He still has the food because like that's what his priorities.
That's the last food they're going to have.
Well, maybe if they buy the video
on
games and the pinball machine in the background here.
No kidding. What? Why? I never understood that. It's like, if you're on a shoestring budget and that's all you have, why did you get that garbage?
But do you also notice how nice the place was? Everything was.
Man, they cleaned that place in 30 seconds or less, man. It was dusted and polished and everything looked brand new.
Again, like, time doesn't really take place. Like, this would have taken a year to get into place.
Yeah.
But not them. And they somehow got video games and pinball machines.
And here we go to the Sedgwick Hotel. And they just barge right in. Anybody see a ghost? As loud as they can, and everybody's like, what the hell? And then the manager's like trying to be all sly behind them, sneaking up behind them, and it's like talking about the 12th floor. And oh yeah, we had these things, but it hasn't happened for a lot of years. But 2 weeks ago, it started picking up again. And they're like, we handle this all the time.
And I have to say, you look at the outfits they have, they're clean here.
Yep.
They did a wonderful job as the movie goes on that they get beat up.
Yeah.
They're not clean every single time. You can tell that they start getting used and they're worn. It's something that I again, movies don't pay attention to. They don't pay attention to like clothes and uniforms that would be destroyed. I mean, you look at the Marvel movies, and it's like, how come your hair is always perfect?
Right. Yeah, Marco, good to see you here. Yeah, he has some of the worst pickup lines ever. So if you're taking advice from him, sorry, man.
It was middle school. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, it's not gonna hurt much, right? And then you get to the old man who's kvetching by the elevator there. Said, "What are you, a cosmonaut?" He's like, "We're exterminators. Somebody saw a cockroach on 12. Must be some cockroach." And you get in the elevator. It's like, I'll take the next one. And this, to me, this scene right here that you've got the slide for, is, in my opinion, one of the funniest scenes in the entire movie. It makes me laugh every time I see it. I've seen this movie hundreds of times. This scene was an ad lib.
So I don't watch this movie. Like I mentioned, I don't watch this movie a lot. I mean, I've seen it numerous times. I never really fully got this till this time. When he goes to turn it on, and and it's like, where are you gonna go? Like,
where are you gonna go in that tiny elevator? Come on, Mr. Sanders, man. You already know that if that thing turned on and was leaking anything, you're all screwed.
But the way that he's just like, And it's wonderful. It's absolutely hilarious because I was dying. I mean, I've seen it 100 times and never really paid attention to it, and I'm like, that is awesome. Like that is.
Well, and then the banter that goes back and forth, and it's like I think this failure I believe this failure falls on me, and Peter's like, so do I. Right? He's like, no sense in worrying about it now. And it's like, why worry? Each of us is carrying an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on our backs. Yep. Switch me on. And then it turns on, and then we do the move. Man, that it gets me every time. I just love it.
The other thing that is ironic in this is the no smoking sign in the back. There is a lot of smoking in this movie.
A lot, especially when they get up on the floor and Ray's got the cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
No, I found slime.
Yeah,
I try and get them in order, and then sometimes I can't find them again.
Well, okay, so they come out of the elevator, guns ablazing, going all military style on it or whatever they're imagining, and what do? They shoot at the poor maid.
Yeah.
They blow up the cart, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And they're like, "Sorry." And then they're like, let's split up. And Peter's like, "Yeah, so we can do more damage."
And I found the slide, and I should have saved it, but I didn't. When Egon starts like going over the guy that's trying to get in his room.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
This guy's just like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Ray comes around the corner, sees the green floating aberration with a cigarette in his mouth, and it just sticks to his lip. It's just dry enough that it sticks there as he opens his mouth, and he walks back, and he's trying to get a hold of somebody, but nobody's around. And then he fires on Slimer. Slimer tears off down the wall, goes through the wall, and the cart crashes against it. And then that's when Egon's scanning the man, and he pokes him, makes sure that he's real. And the guy's like, "What the hell?" And then Slimer finds Peter, and he gets on the walkie, and he's like, "Ray, I got your guy. Don't move. It won't hurt you."
And there's very little of Slimer. As big as he got, like there's very little of him. In the movies and stuff.
It's this scene, but it's how they used him in the cartoon.
Yes.
The cartoon came really close after all this, and we all latched onto it as kids or whatever, and Slimer became a thing.
Yeah. And this is where you get seriously one of the most famous lines that people have used 100 times. He slimed me, and he's just and he's rocking back and forth, and all I can picture is Christmas Story.
Yes.
Back, why couldn't you get over it?
Ray's super excited. Egon's kind of excited and said, "Hey, save me some, but get down here. He's in the ballroom."
But the ballroom is not on the same floor.
No. So I don't know. Egon got in the elevator and went back downstairs. I don't know. I mean, they were on the 12th floor. The ballroom is time matter in this movie.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that noticed that. Hey, Bruce, nice to see you. All right, so they get the destruction of this room.
Allison, that's funny. You knew a guy in college named Slimer. That's awesome.
Oh man. Yeah, Bruce. Yeah, I remember he wasn't, but he was so known. But I do know that he wasn't big until that came out because he was kind of like their pet, wasn't he?
Yeah, essentially in the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, he was kind of their pet. But I mean, the cartoon came out really close to a movie release, first or second, I don't remember. But I mean, the movie, built on that familiarity. And then we go to the midnight buffet. Somebody's having a midnight buffet. Okay, whatever. And then the Ghostbusters lock themselves in the ballroom. And then they start blowing shit up.
Yeah, they're not even trying not to hit things, which they also did upstairs. Like they didn't, like they just were like they were wrecking walls and didn't even care.
Nope. They're just blowing crap up all through the hotel and everything. And then Egon stops them. There's something very important I forgot to tell you. Don't cross the streams. Why? It would be bad. I'm fuzzy on the whole good bad thing. Why is it bad? Because imagine all life as you know it stopping and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light. And Ray gets kind of excited. Proton renewal. All right. And he's like, great. Good to know. Thanks, Egon. Appreciate it. And then they start strategizing about how they're going to deal with this ghost in this room. And they start flipping over tables.
But it's funny because why did they not discuss any of this before? Like how the traps work, like how they were. There's a lot of things they didn't discuss. Like,
hell, man, we don't know how they built the traps and the proton packs between the point where they got fired from the college and lost their grant and found the firehouse. I mean, you have to think that a year has to have passed for them to have developed this technology of the ghost trap storage unit, the proton packs, the traps, and refurnishing the entire firehouse. So it had to have been a year.
Vader was playing pinball. He was not helping.
Of course he was. All he was doing was playing pinball the whole time. That's why those machines were bought. Is because he said, I need something to do while you nerds are doing your nerd stuff. And then you see the manager. The manager is assuring the guest that your room will be ready, and more tables get tossed over.
And then before they did the last one, he goes, "Hold on, I've always wanted to do this." And he grabs a tablecloth.
Oh yeah.
And he takes it, which again, I think we all wanted to, or at least tried it at some point in our lives. And it never seems to work like the magicians do.
Never. Hey, there's a point. I'm gonna get back to this, Bruce, in just a minute. Once we finish this little scene here with the ghost, I'm gonna talk more about the sketchiness. But yeah, so they start strategizing. They put up the plan, and then they start firing. Boom! There goes Egon. He confines it. Peter tags in. They start pulling it down. And they get all excited. They're pulling it down, and then boom! Don't look at the trap. I looked at the trap. The trap wasn't open, so it's okay. It's all right. We're not fully there yet. And then they open the trap. They trap the ghost. 38 minutes into the movie, we have gone full circle all the way up to them catching their first ghost. And so much story has happened in this 38 minutes so far. These hack professionals to now being Ghostbusters.
You know, you're starting to pull out timestamps. I'm getting Guru Frenchie vibes here. Are you going to pull out timestamps throughout the whole movie?
No, I just wanted to make it a point that you can tell an incredible movie in 90 freaking minutes.
Do I need to get Jay and John to moderate this for considering
just hey man, I'm talking about the writer strike. Because some of these writers today are total hacks. They can't tell a story unless they're gotten 3 hours to tell it. But you can tell these guys back in the day had 90 minutes to tell a story, and they could tell a banger of a story.
So I got these out of order. I don't know why I got them out of order, but then I love that smoking. Were they always smoking? Because I don't remember them always smoking.
Every time, yeah. Every time they completed the trap, they had a bunch of dry ice in there, so they were using their dry ice budget to.
We talked about
those effects.
then they give him the bill, which he refuses.
Well, yeah. So the manager like is getting ready to bust down the door, and they come busting out. Says, "We came, we saw, we kicked its ass." And then it's like, "We got it." And then you see in the corner Ray's super excited because he's holding the trap, showing it to the manager, and you see Peter and Egon over here going like, "Yeah, what about this? What about this? Okay." They're discussing how they're going to bill and charge for this because Egon has a mind for this like Peter does. And they start going over the cost of it. It's like, for entrapment, that's $4,000. For proton charging and storage, we got a special running right now. That's only going to be $1,000. $5,000? I had no idea it would be that expensive. I'm not going to pay it. All right, we'll let it go. And Ray's like, "Oh yeah, I'm down for that. Let's let it go." And he's like, No. Screw that. Okay, I'm paying you. Fine, whatever. Get out of my hotel.
What I've always thought of when I see this part is I think of him holding a possum for some reason by the tail.
Oh, of course. It's exactly why
I've
he's holding it
always
like
seen.
that. Yeah, that is a straight up Blues Brothers possum that he's holding up there,
And possums are straight from hell anyway, so.
Right. And if you think about that scene, this whole sequence of events, them destroying everything, making a large racket, nobody sees shit. They just come out with this smoking thing and they say that they've caught it. And then they're asking for $5,000 to keep removing it from the property, that nobody's seen any of this happen or work. And the manager, I mean, you could totally believe that this was all bullshit. Yeah. If you look at it from anybody else's perspective.
And the damage they've done, which is well over $5,000. Even back then, it was over $5,000. And he hasn't even seen the 12th floor.
No. And the maid that probably just quit.
Yes. So the next time, so obviously things are happening. Again, time doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, so they're all over TV. The paranormal guys, they go through all of the stuff. You see all the news reporters, and then this is an Easter egg for much later, but one of the news guys talks about the spectral locomotive that his grandmother always talked about or whatever. And that is a direct reference to a show called Amazing Stories that was on back in the day, because they had one called the Spectral Locomotive, and it was all about a train that came out of nowhere. So it was a reference to a whole other TV show that I'm sure Dan had something to do with that, because he was all into that stuff. But Ghostbusters fever's catching on. They catch, you've got the newspaper article, Ghost Cops Bust Chinatown Spook. Oh, okay. Can't say that word, huh? You got Larry King. They got Larry King to come on and talk about the Ghostbusters, but he also insinuates, could they be the cause of it all? So there's speculation going on. And you have the Time Magazine article, the Omni article, the Atlantic, and then you hear
Larry King smoking.
Yep.
Another smoking. Again, lots of smoking in this.
So much smoking in this, yes. You got Casey Kasem, and then you see Janine taking all these calls, and then you see Ray on the TV show talking about, and they're asking about Elvis. They have fully achieved celebrity status. The town is in love with the Ghostbusters. This has to have happened over months. So if we're looking at actual possible time frames, we're looking at probably 2 years from the time they got let go from the institution, at least.
I believe throughout this hour-and-a-half movie, the time frame is more messed up than The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Where like kids grew up and there was only like 500 days. And you're like, but you've aged 10 years.
Yeah, Allison. I know about that one too, because I actually watched that other show. That other show as well, because there was another show called Ghostbusters, which was based off of an old comic book idea that they did, and that's why when the Ghostbusters cartoon came out that was related to the movie, they had to call them the real Ghostbusters to differentiate them between the one with the gorilla and the jalopy that they ran around in. So that had to do with the rights changing between Columbia and Filmation and all the rest. Yeah, and people going out of business. Everybody's going out of business. But I actually liked that other Ghostbusters show too. It wasn't too bad. But the real Ghostbusters, what everybody wanted, because it was the best. It had the best characters.
I remember coming out like the Ghostbusters and not understanding why, and then I remember the real Ghostbusters, but I also remember not caring about either one of them. But I just remember not understanding Ghostbusters.
Uh-huh.
And then they do the real Ghostbusters, and I'm thinking, well, of course that's the real Ghostbusters. I can even see that those are the characters. But I never understood the Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah, no, it was based off of a previous 1960s property. And it went back and forth with rights issues between the different people that own the rights to each different named property. And because they fell into laps for a little bit, which is how they got to make the movie. And then anyway, but it gets complicated with all that nonsense. But yeah, now we get Ray's Encounter.
Yeah, this is PG, right?
This was PG, and I gotta say that apparently even the ghosts are fangirling for these celebrity Ghostbusters. You can't do one of those scenes today. You just can't. Even though they didn't show anything, they showed nothing. Well, they did show us tidy whities, I guess, but
yeah. But they were going there,
yeah, they were totally going there.
But a lot of so even though this is very sexual, and what's happening, again, sometimes leaving your imagination to do the job is really what works with anything.
Well, and if you think about it, I mean, there are 3 sex scenes in this movie that are never shown.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I know. There's one with Lewis and Dana.
Yeah, there had to be. I mean, Gatekeeper, Keymaster.
Oh, yeah. There was.
You got to know how that ended.
that one's not even. That's more than applied. All right.
Yep.
I don't know why one of them wasn't smoking a cigarette after.
Well, they were demon dogs, so they don't smoke.
That's true. Damn it, that's what I forgot to grab. I forgot to grab my Bronx.
Oh, yeah.
I meant to grab it, too.
I have the original line of Hasbro Ghostbuster figures, but I gave them all to my wife as presents, and so she never opened them, so I don't have the terror dog.
Oh, really?
Well, and I could never get the Tully one. I wanted to get the Tully one because he came with another demon dog, so you could have both demon dogs. But so enter Winston Zedmore.
Wait, this came out the same year as Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom and Gremlins, and was one of the reasons we got PG-13.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely that, and a Disney movie called The Black Cauldron, I think was the actual first PG-13 movie ever released, was a cartoon made by Disney because it had a couple drops of blood in it.
The Black Cauldron, if you don't know anything about it, and I've never seen it, look up Secret Galaxy. Dan Larson has a whole thing on it.
Yep.
And it is extremely interesting.
Yep. It's a fascinating history with that movie. Yeah. I really like it, but and this is one of my favorite ones.
I have the Funko Pop Terror Dog. Are we going to get to see your Funko Pops next week?
Uh-oh. Funko Pops.
I can't believe no one's ever called out the one that's sitting behind me.
Oh, I know. I've seen it.
It's my daughter. Well, no, because my daughter collects them.
Yep.
I had ordered it because it popped up, and then when I got it in, it was for Christmas. And when I went over there to put it in there, I realized I had already ordered it.
Yeah. PNC, I'm not going to highlight that comment because I don't think we need to put it on the screen. But yes, I love Logan's Run too. That's a great movie. But yes, that did happen in that movie.
I have never seen Logan's Run.
It's a good movie, and might be prescient here in the future. But anyway, and it was filmed here in Dallas. They used the Las Colinas water park to film a lot of the scenes. But it's a great movie. Winston Zeddemore is the everyman. He comes into the scene or comes into the movie as the viewer's perspective person. He's not the scientist. He's not the believer. He just wants a freaking steady paycheck, and he has some of the best lines. I love his lines.
He doesn't shy away from it.
No,
and he just says, "This line here says it all." Like he just wants a paycheck.
That's it. He just wants a steady paycheck. And later on in the movie, when you find out how much he was getting paid, you're like, "What the hell?" But anyway, by today's standards, it's nothing. By then, I don't think it was that much either. But his character backstory was so much more in depth than what they ever got into, because he was supposed to be an Air Force officer. So he served in combat and in different situations, and that he was supposed to be a combat vet that came into this situation with them.
Really?
Yeah, and I've met Ernie a couple of times. Man, he is one of the best human beings I've ever got a chance to talk to. And he goes into all kinds of detail. He has so much love for this property and the movies, and the fact that Bill Murray went to bat for him on the second movie because they didn't want to include him. The studio didn't want to pay him to come back, and Bill Murray said, "We're not doing the movie without him," and put his foot down, and basically forced them to bring him back for the second movie.
Isn't the movie most people hate?
It's not too bad.
I don't remember hating it. I don't remember it being that bad. I mean, I've seen it, but
yeah, I mean, it's not. It doesn't have the same heart as the first one, but it's not bad. And the first one set up so many different things that should have happened between Egon and Janine, but because of the cartoon show, they changed it all and put the Janine Lewis story on there because they are both nerds with glasses, and the other guys don't have glasses except for Egon, but he's different. So they changed it all.
Had this movie been made now, it would have been a complete franchise. Franchise. There would have been so many spinoffs.
Well, if the second movie had made near as much money as the first movie, it would have been. They would have made more movies.
Yeah.
But the second movie did not make as much as the first movie, and that's why the studio's like, "All right, we're done."
But like I said, today, especially if Sony owned it, they can continue. They make Ghostbusters without ghosts, like they do Spider-Man without Spider-Man.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're gonna do all the Spider-Man villains. Spider-Man's gonna fight them? No. How does this work? Don't worry.
I agree, Allison. I mean, I haven't worked with him in the same capacity, but I've met him a couple of times. I got not a bad thing to say about the man. I thought he was amazing. And then we get I'll believe anything you say. And then we go to you're hired. Here, take this garbage down to the trash with me. Is essentially, he's like, "What the hell? I'm in my suit. You want me to carry this? I don't know. Is this toxic? What is this crap?" The look he gives him as he's got to take the traps down. And then you've got Dana, Peter visiting Dana at the symphony.
Yes, wearing a overcoat over.
Yeah, his jumpsuit. Yeah, I mean,
yes. He basically got jumpsuit.
Okay, so it doesn't make sense until you see the end of the scene, which is kind of funny if you think about it, but we'll get there. He goes to visit Dana, and she's coming out, and he tries to impress her with a bunch of bullshit. He's clearly flirting with her, trying to, saying, hey, you're the best one on your row. And she's like, really? I'm surprised you could hear me with the whole symphony behind me. But the banter they have there going back and forth,
Yes.
It's a flirty, it's playful, it's fun. It's very much of that, hey, I'm not that interested in you. I'm being very nice to you. And he's like, I'm very interested in you. I want to talk to you. And she's like, do you have any info for me on my case?
But this is where you see him really breaking through to her.
Yeah. Yes. This is where you see that connection starting to form, for sure. And he's like, who's the stiff? And she's like, hey, what about my case? Ignore the stiff. Okay, what about my case? And then he goes on about Zool, the demigod, and the Hittites and the Sumerians, and Gozer, and they start flirting some more. And then he convinces her finally to go on a date with him on Thursday night. They're going to go out.
So basically, they're out right now. I actually have that written down. At 9 o'clock. So they started at the same time that Travis decided to do his show today. I just got to get a jab in. Even though he probably has more people watching.
Who knows? Who cares? I'm having fun.
He took Tony away from us, damn it.
He took Tony away from us, bastard. And then we cut to, at the end of the scene, Peter does his big dance like this. He starts like spinning around or whatever. And if you notice in the background, there's a guy on roller skates in almost the same color scheme outfit, roller skating around in the background. I always thought that was weird.
There he is right here. The black guy.
No, there's another one. He's actually got like tan bottoms and an orange type of top. So it's a slightly different color mix. Yeah. Yeah. And he's the one that's like spinning around on his roller skates when Peter is dancing. And then we go back to Ray explaining to Winston about how the storage works and everything. And then
so that's what I got out of order, because I had that here.
Yeah. He's explaining to him how it works, and then all of a sudden Peck shows up. Peter walks back in, and Janine's there saying that, hey, we've got an EPA guy here. And then yep.
Which this guy plays the ultimate prick.
Yep.
From Real Genius, who he's amazing in Real Genius.
Love that movie. That's one of my favorite Val Kilmer movies.
Yeah. To this, he almost plays the exact same character. But
he does. Yeah. But yeah, in this role, he plays a character named Peck. I mean, come on. That's really close.
I know. Which makes for some of the funniest lines.
Makes for some great lines coming up. And then he introduces himself, and he calls him Peter Venkman, and he says, Dr. Venkman. He says, Doctor of what? Parapsychology, psychology. And he's like, and now you're a Ghostbuster. And then they're talking about storage and everything, and Peck wants to see it. And he's playing all coy, but you didn't use the magic word. What's the magic word? Please? May I please see the storage unit? Why?
The chemistry is awesome because it is night and day. It's kind of like how he is when it comes to Egon. Except for Egon's not just a complete a-hole.
Yep.
Peck is clearly a guy that didn't get to use his pecker in high school.
Right. Yes. And then you get Egon, Ray, and Winston down in the basement, and he's talking about something big is coming up, and now we have the Twinkie analogy.
Yes. And then
The 35-foot long Twinkie.
which
And then
Twin-
yeah, go ahead.
well, Twinkies kind of have a white filling, which is kind of like what you see at the end.
Fair enough. Drawing more conclusions there. Yep. And also, they're designed to survive the nuclear holocaust. So, whatever.
Yes, they are. They will last forever.
And then the EPA is worried about the grid. And now we go to the demon dogs breaking loose.
Yeah.
You've got Zool and Vince breaking loose.
Which they do look extremely grotesque.
Yeah.
Like they are. They're not creepy in the sense they scare you, but you look at them and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't want to run into that.
Yep.
You see these idiots with lions and tigers, and lions and tigers are cute at least. I mean, I wouldn't go petting them like some of these idiots, because they are wild cats that hunt.
Yeah. Yep.
So then we find Dana, who is talking to her mom, right?
So we have, so Lewis's party's going on. And that's when he invites her
Yes.
to come to the party. And she says that she's got a date. And he looks all dejected. He's like, well, he can come too. And she's like, we've got Twister and all this other stuff. And she's like, oh, okay, we might try to stop by. Bye-bye, I got to go. And he locked himself out of his apartment again.
Yes.
And then Dana goes to call mom.
Yeah. She calls mom and she's basically, I got a date tonight. Tells her mom that it's with a Ghostbuster, which I thought was an odd thing to divulge. Like, yeah, it's with a Ghostbuster. Like,
Well, but everybody knows who they are, right? They're all over TV
Yeah, okay.
right now.
yeah, I guess, even though it's only been like 4 days.
Oh, or 2 years, whatever.
Close enough, right?
Oh, I thought you were gonna, take the next frame, because the next frame has some wonderful hand placement.
The problem was I couldn't find a clear.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of the pictures were not that clear that I was searching for. And even this one has a line drawn towards her.
Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah, it's yeah. She gets accosted by her chair and thrown into the demon dog, and she becomes the gatekeeper.
Yes.
And then we go back to Lewis's party, and everybody's like getting ready. The pretty girl's getting ready to leave. He's like, "Hey, wait, we'll dance." And they start dancing.
Okay.
Somebody rings the doorbell.
So this is where we see. Now, there's two things in this. We see her for the first time. She was in Cheers. Okay.
Cheers.
Yes. She was Carla's husband's new wife.
Okay.
Okay. So
Isn't she from Three's Company?
no.
Okay.
This we're going off base right now. So Casey Kasem is in this. You hear his
Yes.
voice.
Yep.
She married Casey Kasem.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
She killed Casey Kasem.
Oh.
You have to watch. Look, see, PNC knows. I came across this true crime, and oh my God. I kind of remember there was an issue after he passed away, but I watched this true crime. You guys got to watch it. Holy crap. When you read into it, you're like, yep, she pretty much killed him.
Wow.
Like it's crazy. And if I remember correctly, this may have been how they met.
Probably.
They met like because he's not in this. He's just a voiceover.
Well, yeah.
But as soon as I saw her, and I'm like, oh wait, his voice is also in this. But yeah, she was in Cheers. She was Carla's ex-husband's new wife. She's obviously much taller than him and everything.
Right.
A total ditz. A total ditz. But yeah, he's clearly trying to hit on her, and then he gets her to start dancing. She pretty much plays the exact same character in this as she does in Cheers.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Gene Kasem. Okay. And then you have new people coming in, and Lewis introduces them. He talks about all the food in his party, and he's accountant, so he's trying to make himself look good, and he throws the jackets on the bed, and there's a demon dog there.
But he also explains why he invited so many work friends or work people and friends, because then he write it off.
Yep. It's a write-off. Because this is all a ploy to get Dana to come over, because he wants to meet and talk with and have a date with Dana, or as close to it as he can. So he set up this whole elaborate event for her to come over. That's the only reason this party exists.
Even though he's clearly hitting on Casey Kasem's wife.
Oh, yeah, whatever. I mean, he's hitting on anybody he can, I'm sure, but he always wants Dana.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So here's, where he first throws it on this thing. Doesn't even see it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then it chases him out of the building.
But he hears it. And he's like, who let the dog in? And then it smashes out.
Yep.
And I've always been impressed with this. The way it smashed through and smashed into the wall, like, that is exactly how a wild animal like that would do it. Like, they would not, like, just smash through and keep going. They would smash into the next wall, kind of knock themselves silly, like dogs do and everything. So
I was going to say, I think of it like dogs running on hardwood.
Yep. Which is funny because Roman never hits any walls. He always misses the door or the wall. I've never seen him hit one. And I have all hardwood floors throughout my house. So
perfect. Yeah, we have no carpet in our house either. The thing chases him out all the way through. And what's funny is if you look at it real close, when he leaves the apartment complex and he goes and jumps over the wall, that looks like the exact same wall that Raphael is in right when he meets Casey Jones for the first time in the original 1990s TMNT movie. It looks like the same scene.
I'm not even going to say anything because I know nothing.
Yeah, because you probably haven't seen that one either, have you?
I have seen it, but I probably was not paying attention because I was never a Turtles fan.
Man, I don't know. That 90s movie was awesome. But
so
yeah,
once again, this is the second New York movie that someone's able to run through New York and there's no people.
Hey, there were plenty of people.
Yeah, in there.
He had to run by all those people, but then he went into Central Park, right? He just ran across the street as fast as he could, jumped the thing, and then he was in Central Park. And he ran through Central Park to get to here. And there were people in the street going by there.
Yeah, but no one saw the big dog.
Nobody cared to get in the way of it. I mean, it's New York. If you see some strange shit, you just turn around and walk the other way.
Yes. No one even pays attention.
They hear him pounding on there, and then he slides down, and they all just go back to what they were doing because it's New York. Crazy shit happens. Ignore the crazies.
Well, again, we're avoiding time, so I guess we can avoid a big giant dog.
Hey, nobody. Well, okay. So here's a theory that I had: is that only the people they were destined for could actually see the dog. That not everybody saw it. Things happened like a wind gust or a brush or whatever, but only the thing that it was chasing could actually see it until it inhabited the body.
But the people saw it. Did they see it?
I don't know. I don't know if they actually saw it or if it was just a wind gust that went by. Anyway.
So here we have Venkman goes back to her house.
Oh yeah, and yeah. we get Vince Clortho's maid, and then we go. Peter arrives to all the commotion, and they're talking about somebody brought a cougar to a party. He's like, what the hell's going on? Whatever. He's just walking by, ignoring the other crazy stuff in New York because it's New York.
The fact that no one stops them from going up to that floor when something obviously happened.
Well, he wasn't going to that apartment. He was going to Dana's. He gave a name and an apartment number that wasn't the affected one, even though it was on the same floor. I mean, whatever. Just let him go up. He's talking about somebody else. He knows the name. All right. Yeah. He was expected. He was probably on the list. Dana had to put him on the list.
That's true. So this is what she asked if he's the keymaster.
No. Boom. Knock, knock, knock. Yes. He's a friend of mine. He sent me over to come ahead.
I think the banter between them throughout this is wonderful.
It's amazing.
It really is, because now she's acting as someone else.
Yes.
Completely.
Yep.
And he's still hitting at her the whole time.
Yep. It's like, I am Zool, the gatekeeper.
Where he finally gets her in bed.
Yep. Finally gets her in bed. I mean, there's so much innuendo in these conversations.
Yes.
Do you want this body? Is that a trick question? Take me, subhuman.
So he has his chance. So he does have some standards.
Yep. Oh, it said there's two. I don't get involved with possessed people. Well, not a hard rule. I want you inside me. No, I can't. I think there's already enough people inside you.
So
it might be a little crowded.
There is this part when she is face down and he clearly takes a look at her ass.
Oh, yes.
And he is
for sure.
And he is rethinking whether or not he should sleep with her.
Right.
But I just thought, like, well, the way she was turning, I'm like, this looks so fake. The way her legs are.
You know why? It is the exact representation. It is exactly the way that the vaudeville entertainers would levitate a woman on stage. I mean, it's the old Harry Houdini levitating woman, bring out the hula hoop to pass through them, type of thing. No strings attached. That's exactly what they did here. And I think it was on purpose.
Which, how do they do that?
Forklift.
What do you mean?
There's a little forklift and it lifts them up, and there's some other things they can rotate them around, and the hula hoop has some spacers in it that you pass through.
Where the hell's the forklift at?
Behind them, behind the curtains.
No, I mean, I know I'm talking about magicians.
Yeah, no, yeah. So they've got a curtain behind them. It's all perspective. It's all done from a very specific perspective.
Really?
Yeah, it's. I mean,
and don't get me wrong. I know it's not real, but
right.
I know they're not Jedi. So he does come to his senses and thinks, you know what, I shouldn't sleep with her.
No, yeah. And he says, he wants to talk to Dana. And says, there is no Dana, only Zool. Lovely singing voice you have.
The police drop Lewis off at the Ghostbusters because they don't know where to take him.
They got nowhere else to take him. Nobody else will take him. And Egon goes out there to take a look at him, and he sticks his PKE meter to him and says, you better bring him inside. And what does Janine say? You're so kind for taking care of him. You're such a humanitarian. And he says, I don't think he's human. And I love Janine's line when she answers the door with the cops knocking on, dropping off or picking up. Just nonchalant. Are you coming in to arrest some of these guys, or what's going on?
So this is where you find out he's the keymaster.
Yep. You see the thermal imaging, and on the thermal imaging in the back, you see the terror dog, as they're mapping his brain with the colander. Which
is really odd, but such a unique. I thought it was very unique because I'm sure I noticed it when I watched it before, but never really noticed that they're actually seeing the dog, not him.
Yep. Yeah.
So I thought that was a very unique way to look at it. Just something different to show, like, okay, this isn't your normal, paranormal stuff.
And what I think the funniest thing to me about this whole thing is that you've got Lewis or Vince Clortho here acting like a total idiot. I mean, he's a freaking moron. He just starts handing him stuff. I mean, he's like a lost puppy, for lack of a better term. He's just kind of hanging out. Yes, have some. When he say, "You want some coffee?" Yes, have some. Yes, have some. It just starts handing him random shit. It's like he wants to please. It's kind of funny.
But it's like Rick Moranis is amazing.
Yes.
Like, he's not that dumb in real life.
No, he's pretty brilliant. He's a musician. He's got all kinds of stuff going for him. And he quit his acting career to go spend time with his family.
Yeah, after his wife passed away. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's kind of like if you watch The Office, when you hear Kevin speak in real life, the actor that plays Kevin, and you're like,
yeah,
I can't get over you not talking really slow and sounding stupid.
And then Janine gives her psychic impression. I think something bad's going to happen to you guys. She goes on about her psychic abilities in front of Egon, just trying to convince him to stay, and something's going on. Then Peter calls.
Yep.
And basically tells Egon what the lowdown is and says, "Hey, we need to get these two together." And Egon's like, "No, we should not get these two together."
Yeah.
And then you have Ray and Winston talking about God.
Which I think this is a very important part of the movie.
I do too. Except for the fact that he gets the verse wrong.
The what?
He's, they quote a Bible verse. And what's funny is they quote the verse correctly. They just gave the wrong verse number.
Oh. I'm a heathen, so I don't know that.
It's Revelations 6:12, not Revelations 7:12. But anyway.
Okay. But it's this is where you start, they kind of happen to come across figuring out, like, oh, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
But I think if you took this out and you tried breaking down the movie, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. Like, why is this happening now?
Yeah, no, I mean, they talk about a bunch of stuff, and the Bible days, Judgment Day. The whole conversation is really poignant and relevant. And I think it really kind of ties the whole ending of the movie together about, hey, this is like real heavy stuff. And they're like, hey, let's turn on some music. They don't want to think about it anymore.
And I had to show the map because the map is pretty important because they just let you take the map wherever you want to go. So
EPA raid, they got their warrants.
So it's daylight, but it was nighttime with Ray and...
Time means nothing. Just wait for another 5 minutes when we go to pitch black at night to evening time and back to nighttime. But anyway.
So this here is seriously... Even Egon is absolutely annoyed by this guy.
No, everybody is. The cop is annoyed by this guy.
Yeah.
The cop doesn't want to be serving this peckerwood. I mean, they're arguing back and forth, and basically they're saying, "Hey, if you shut this down, bad shit's going to happen." And he's like, "You need to shut this thing down." Even the Edison workers like, "I don't know what this is. I don't want to do this."
You have Lewis that's pointing in.
He's like a puppy dog. He's trying to mimic his master guy. This right
Yep.
here. Yeah, okay. But hey, earlier on when he was talking about his thing, he said, he was waiting for the sign. They're waiting for the sign for the moment to happen.
Yeah.
And Egon's trying to stop him. He's like, "This is going to be very bad. Don't do this."
And then you have Lewis again, just.
Yep, sniffing, looking. He does such a great job of being so weird.
Yes. And then here comes Bacon.
Yep. And he's got to play nice guy with the cop. And I thought it was funny. He gets involved with the whole situation, and then tell him, "Hey, this is a bad idea." And the cops tell him to back off, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm just whatever." And the cops, Peck is like, "Rah!" And he's like, and the cop yells back at Peck, like, "You do your job, I'll do my job." So clearly, the cop does. Nobody likes this guy.
Yeah, he's only there because he has to be.
Yep. And then the guy pulls the switch. And then as soon as he pulls the switch and the alarm starts going off, he's like, "Oh, shit." Turn it. And everybody runs.
And again, it's daytime.
Because it was just nighttime, so of course it's daytime. I mean, that explosion is so massive, it just lit up the whole day. That's whatever. And as the explosion happens and everybody's running out of the building, Vince kind of just wanders off.
Yes. Because he saw a sign.
Well, yeah, clearly he's wandering off, but that is a sign. And he's like, yeah. And then that's when Peck tries to arrest him, and Egon goes after him. He's like, "You caused this explosion." He's like, "Your mother." And then guess what? The song starts playing.
We see all the ghosts.
Yeah, well, so the song "I Believe It's Magic" starts playing. And ghosts come everywhere, and Slimer eats all of the hot dogs in Adam Sandler's hot dog stand. That guy, I don't know. I always thought that guy looked like Adam Sandler to me, like he could be his dad or something.
This one always kind of made me laugh because I'm like, he's not really a ghost. He's a skeleton.
He's a zombie. He's driving a zombie cab there.
I guess so. So they get arrested.
So we get to see Dana's apartment, and Dana's apartment explodes. So all that gets totally blown out. And then
that's right. Okay.
And then we come back to the jail cell when Winston's trying to convince the cops, "I'm not even with these guys. I just work with them. I don't know them. Let me go."
I love the blueprints in.
I love it. Yeah, they let them keep all their gear. I mean, they're not all their gear, but the stuff that they had with them, the blueprints, where did they come from? I mean, did Ray hide them in his ass or what?
And they have a table there. You gotta love the table.
Yeah, and there's just a table in the middle of a jail cell. Okay, whatever. I mean, did they give him the table because they knew they were going to put the blueprint? Whatever.
And then after a little bit, the mayor wants to see him.
Well, no, so everybody's so interested in what they're talking about, and they go back and forth, and they talk about the building and Ivo Shandor in the 1920s, and and then Peter's like, "And so be good, for goodness sake." He started singing to everybody as everybody's like freaking out, and then Family Matters shows up.
Yes.
The diehard cop, Family Matters, the guy who always plays the same character in every movie that he's ever been in.
Yep.
The mayor wants to see you.
And then we get...
The dirty deed was done.
Yes. And it's more than implied here.
Well, and she looks completely unsatisfied, so yeah.
But she is looking hot.
Mm. To be fair, yeah.
So they end up with the mayor.
And his crisis team. They got all the people there, and then they bring in the Ghostbusters, and then he calls for Peck, and then Peck comes running in.
It's just there's so
And
much
then
that happens.
so much. Ray's got a comment on there. Yeah, it would have been fine until Dickless shut off our grid. And then Peck's like, they caused the explosion. Is any of this true? Yes. This man has no dick.
I came across the meme and I'm like, there you go. Like,
and then Peck just loses it and goes after.
Yes.
Oh, that's just what I heard.
So pretty much they let him go.
Well,
Right.
so the mayor asks for advice from one of his advisors, and he's like,
Oh.
well, that was no light show that we saw. And then they're like going back and forth. And then the cardinal comes in, and the mayor greets him like an old friend. They know each other, Mike and Lenny, and and then he's like, officially, the church has no position on this. But to me, it looks like a sign from God. I mean, what does it look like to you? And then Winston comes in and introduces himself and comes up there and says, I've only worked with this company for a couple of weeks. Okay. Because they got so busy, they finally had to hire somebody. So we know at least a couple of months have passed, if not 2 years. I'm just saying 2 years. And then he's like, shit's gone down. Shit will make you turn white. And then Peter gives his speech and says, you can believe Mr. Peckerwood, or you could believe that a disaster of biblical proportions is coming. And then they're like rattling off everything, Old Testament, blah, 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 this, that, all this other cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. The mayor's like, all right, I get it. And he says, but what if you're wrong? And he says, if I'm wrong, nothing happens. We go to jail. We enjoy it. We peacefully go to jail. We enjoy it. But if I'm right and we can stop this thing, Lenny, you will have saved the lives of millions of registered voters.
And as a kid, you don't realize the impact of that, but as an adult, you go, yeah. The politician would be like, oh, shit. That is re-election easily. It's a slam dunk.
Slam dunk, man. Rudy Giuliani. Anyway.
But there's a lot that happens from this point on. They're superstars. Everyone's celebrating.
Yep. They got the police escort. You got the Jewish guys praying. You got everybody praying. You got the cloud effects. The cloud effects start. Those awesome cloud effects start swirling up there. It's awesome.
The National Guard has been summoned.
Yeah.
They just magically show up.
Yeah, that happens.
Yes. We saw the Hawk. Same thing happened in the Hawk.
Right. And they arrive.
Like the ground shakes. They
Massive earthquake, lightning storm. Everybody thinks they're dead, swallowed up, and they come climbing back out.
Everyone knows that there's these ghosts all over, but they're all surrounded by this apartment building.
Why are they at that apartment building?
What?
Do you know why they're at that apartment building?
Because it blew up?
No, not just that. That's where that swirling cloud electrical storm is centered above.
Yeah. So you know where I would not be?
There. Yes.
I would go
exactly.
other. I don't care that much.
Hey, Hey, do you remember seeing Independence Day?
Yes.
What happened? So you had all those people that love the aliens, and they're like standing on top of the building saying, "Yay, aliens!" And what happened to all those people?
What should have happened?
Yeah, well, that's human nature. You always have the dumb shits.
So then we see them. They say they have to climb up to her where she's at. And obviously, the elevators probably don't work at this point.
I would imagine power grid is probably down.
And that's a lot of steps. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I mean, that's forced perspective and mirrors and shit. But yeah, that's a lot of steps. And she's like, "We're in the teens. All right, tell me when we get to 20. I'm gonna vomit."
So they get
And
to
then
the
they get up
top.
there. Well, they get up there and they pass Lewis's place, and then they are looking around inside the apartment, just looking around. Then all of a sudden, Ray spots the stairs. Hey, where do those go?
And I
Up.
had that picture. It didn't save for some reason, and I couldn't find it. and he tells Ray to go up them.
Well, so he says they go up, and he starts walking towards it, and then a lightning strike happens, and then he's starting to guide everybody else in front of him. And he's like, "All right, go on, guys. So I'll be right. You go ahead of me." And then we see Dana and Lewis turned into the terror dogs.
Yep.
And what does Peter say? Okay, so she's a dog. Which, if you take it in the phraseology of the time frame, that could mean something totally different.
But how did they know that they were turning into the dogs?
I think they saw it happen, or they saw the dogs, or whatever, because you see the transformation happen, and right after that transformation happened, that's when Venkman says it. So they were already up the stairs.
Okay.
And then the Temple of Gozer opens.
Yeah. Which is creepy. The whole Gozer it's creepy. It creeps me out to this day. Like, it just creeps me out. Like, everything about Gozer and the look of Gozer is just creepy to me.
Handsome headedry, I don't know. I've only been incarcerated one time, and it was for a brief period of time. I was in and out, so I had no chance to see a table.
I have actively avoided jail, and I plan to do that the rest of my life.
And then, yeah, I mean, the banter here back and forth is awesome. They try to shoot it. She jumps out of the way. They're surprised that it's a girl too. They're like, it can take whatever form it wants to.
So this movie is woke, is what you're saying?
Because it has the asexual being that comes out of there with the manly flat top look, but clearly female. I mean, I don't know.
So go on.
Yeah, no, I was just like, yeah, they start shooting. She jumps over. They're all freaking out. And then
wait, we did forget the one line. Are you a god?
It hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So they shoot her. She flips over and is on the other side, and basically asks him, "Are you a god?" And they say, they ask Ray to go talk to her.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Are you a god?" "No." "Then die." And she almost throws him off the building.
Yes. And that's when we learn that if someone ever asks you if you are a god, you
say yes. Another great Winston line.
Which wouldn't, I mean, then in the remake of the Girls Ghostbusters, shouldn't they have redone this, but with Thor there to say yes? I've
You
tied
know,
Thor to a few movies now.
if they had a sense of humor or were self-aware enough, they probably would have. But those writers were terrible. So, but then and we get Peter. This chick is toast. They all go to fire. They miss, and then Ray says, "Aim for the flat top," and they go for it again. Disappeared. She's gone.
Which
like,
I
wait.
found odd. Now Ghostbusters is gone.
Yeah. And then they get all excited, but nope. The building starts collapsing, shaking, falling down, and then you hear the voice, "Choose and perish." And then it's like, "Choose the form of the destructor." And everybody's like, "No, empty your heads, empty your heads." And nope, something happened. The choice is made. And everybody's like looking around. "I didn't choose. Did you choose? I didn't choose. You know, who? Why?" And it's like Ray's like, I couldn't help myself. And Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You know, it's a sign of, you know, my youth and my joy and da da
da.
And then we have full kaiju.
Yeah. And I think it's done so wonderfully because he's moving super slow, has this really like happy face on him.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome. You know, my wife
and
was
everyone's
just
kind
telling
of
me
like
today.
freaking out, but
Yeah, it's just marching down the street. Everybody's because it's stomping on stuff. My wife was just telling me today. It's a long time since I thought about this game, but there's an 8-bit, you know, arcade game called Berserk, and you were chased around by a smiley face that was trying to kill you the whole time, and it freaked her out. And all of a sudden, this just reminded me of that same thing. He's smiling as he's walking down the street. Hey, Anthony, Tony's in the house.
Yep. So we have. This goes by pretty quick, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like he comes through and he doesn't really do much damage. You know.
Hey, but they're cooking marshmallows there, man. I mean, they're blowing chunks of marshmallow off when they do that. Clearly, the marshmallow man's not happy.
Well, I wouldn't be either if someone was crossing the streams on me.
Well, they haven't done that yet, right? They haven't done that yet because they have to regroup. And Peter's like, "Hey, we got this covered. It's a sailor in New York. All we got to do is get him laid." And that's when we get the this job is definitely not worth it for $11,500 a year. $11,500 a year. That's what they were paying Winston.
So I wonder what that is today.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be like maybe $35,000 a year or something. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Hold on.
But that's when you know, we get the whole discussion about hey, now we got to cross the streams. Wasn't that supposed to be a bad thing? I love the all the special effects that are going on here too.
Yeah, it looks really good. Again, especially for when it was. I don't think this was supposed to be a big budget movie.
No, it really wasn't. And honestly, this is a testament to the model makers and the animatronic people and the fact that they use practical effects for everything. It really, really stands out.
So again, it's kind of funny because the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, kind of like Slimer, isn't really in it very much for as popular as he is.
Well, I mean, you got to think, throughout history, the things that have had some of the most influence on everybody is something that was just briefly there. You get a flash for what they are, what they could do, and the visage of what it is, the image of it is impressive upon you. Because you think about it, Boba Fett became one of the most popular things in all of Star Wars mythology, based on the fact that he captured Han Solo, right?
Yeah.
That he had just this one little scene in Empire Strikes Back where he's working with Vader, or a few scenes, right? And then he became so popular that he was put in the next movie and just died like a retard. And then you make a whole TV series out of him, and he is a retard in that series too. But he had all this imagination in our heads for 30 years or so that he was like the most awesome guy in the world. And it's just these brief images of things
Yes.
that imprint on us, and we're like, we want to know more. But if you know more, does it make it better? Or if you create your own stories, does that make it better? And usually when you create your own stories, that makes it better.
I'm okay with some of the stuff now, but as a kid, we always want to know, what did he mean by no disintegrations?
Yeah.
And that was left in your head. So.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then they decided to cross the streams, and boom, they blow off the top of the building.
Yes.
Just
And they all
incinerate
survive.
it.
They all
They all
survive.
survive, covered in marshmallow goo.
Yeah.
Except for Peter.
Yes, I like that Bateman didn't have. I like the fact that they didn't make it so they were all just absolutely covered. Like there was a difference.
Yeah.
And here's
I
where
love
Pecky
that.
gets nailed.
I love it.
It definitely reminds me of the popcorn scene in Real Genius. Like,
yes.
different, but
Yep.
And then, we get this here. We'd like to get a sample of your brain tissue. Okay.
Oh yeah. I like the line. I feel like the floor of a taxi cab. Smells like barbecue dog. Oh, sorry, Peter. Sorry, I didn't mean that. And then they start breaking out of their shells, and they find Dana and get her out. Lewis starts coming out and gets stuck, and then they save him. And what does he do? He introduces himself, and he's like, "Who does your taxes?"
All right.
And we have the fanfare. Everybody's coming out, and everybody's getting celebrated except for Lewis, who gets completely ignored again. He's like, "Hey, I was there. I was an eyewitness. You want to talk to me?" And they're like, "Hey, come over here." He's like, "I want to ride in the car with them." He's like, "No, you're coming with us."
And then we were just like, it's back to being late. It's daytime again.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you could say that took place so late in the night, early in the early morning that
They had to walk down the
sun's come up.
steps.
Yeah, they had to walk down all those steps, and it took them all evening to go up, and then all night to come back down.
So that's one explanation that we can actually finally use. But for the most part,
because it was daytime when they went in, and then it was nighttime when they showed the Terror Dog transformation, but it was still evening time when they showed out the blown out building with them inside it. So it went back and forth a couple of times there.
Yeah, it's one of those.
And then
but I gotta say, I like the movie.
Let's go through the credits real quick as they start showing everything wrapping up at the end with the credits going on, and then right at the end you get that end credit scene, so to speak, of Slimer coming right at you. So he's still out there. Slimer's still out there, and then it goes to the black credits, and you get the Ray Parker Jr. soundtrack going on there. And man, I really enjoy this movie. I've always liked it.
Like I said, it's a fun movie. I think it's. I mean, it's like when I think of like Roadhouse. Roadhouse is just it is a bad movie, but it's so bad that it's good.
Right.
This is a really good movie. Like from beginning to end, it is well written. Even though it is a comedy, it is comical, it is well written, it is well done, well acted. And it's not that just slapstick comedy like so many
Right.
other movies.
Yep.
But it really does just end. I mean, yeah, you see Slimer, but there's no real big fanfare. They're all celebrated, and then the end. We
Yep.
don't find out what happens to them till the next movie. And that's it.
That's it.
And we made this stream longer than the movie.
We did. Yes. I was looking at that, and about 45 minutes ago, I was like, oh, we went longer than the movie.
So now we got to discuss what movies you guys want to vote on for 2 weeks from now. Because it's supposed to be Matthew and Tony. I don't know where Tony went. He stopped him for a second here.
Yeah, PNC, I'm pretty sure Peter ran and hid too, but I also think that he said, I got slimed earlier. These jokers are getting covered in mushrooms or marshmallow stuff. Not me. I'm not doing it.
But marshmallow is way better than slime. You don't know what it is.
Hey, well, yeah, but you have to know that wasn't marshmallow anything. That was probably fire extinguisher stuff, which is very toxic, but whatever.
Hey, Anthony,
He's here.
go to your Instagram then. Piss me off. I sent you a text. I sent you an Instagram. Go to your Instagram. Tony's Figs. Or Anthony Romo. I don't know. I don't know how many different accounts you have. You have burner accounts and stuff. All right. So I'm gonna let you decide on one of the films. I'm still gonna do the poll and everything, so you guys can still do it. And then you guys can decide how you guys want to do it. Maybe you'll find a better way than what we've been doing it. Because I it's still a big work in progress. No, you're not.
Well, the next one is Lethal Weapon, right?
Yes.
So that's what Tony and I will be doing next time that we do the show 2 weeks from now.
So I wanted to bring him on since he is going to be doing it. The white Mexican.
Live streaming all night long.
How the hell are you lighter than me? How are you lighter than me when you're 100% Mexican and live in Arizona?
Hold on, I gotta get the YouTube off because I can hear you twice. Hold on. Oh shit. Okay, I'm good. Yeah. But now my camera was over here for my toy kind of mood bullshit. And now, okay, I'm looking at you guys. Now I'm looking at my screen. All righty. Movie time.
All right, so you guys are going to be talking Lethal Weapon in 2 Thursdays from now. So
What?
I'm letting you and Matthew are going to be talking Lethal Weapon.
That's the movie?
Yep, you guys can do it any way you want.
You guys didn't do Lethal Weapon already?
No, we've only been at this a little
I'm just
while.
teasing. I'm just fucking around. Yeah.
So you guys decide how you want to do it. I don't care. I will be.
Do you really want to jump? Do you want to? Let's go.
I will be stressed out about driving 18, 19, 20 hours to Florida with 2 kids.
Oh, you're driving? You're not flying?
No, my son would never fly.
Oof, that's a.
But I'd rather drive. I need my car anyway.
Oof. Okay.
So, you guys, as we always do, I'll let you guys each pick a movie. And then in the chat, you guys get to decide on another movie. So pick 5 movies. I'll do the poll.
Hey, Allison. Did you see what she said? That made my fucking night, dude. Allison, you so crazy. Oh my god. Here,
All right.
I'm in there, even doggy style. Allison, you're crazy. Allison's
All
a
right.
dog too.
Yeah. Any suggestions? Anybody got something out there that they want to see? Put in the poll.
Okay, so the next Thursday coming up that I'm on, we're gonna do Lethal Weapon, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
2 weeks from now.
In 2 weeks.
Okay. Then what are we talking? What movies are you asking them to put up now?
2
I'm
weeks after
asking
that.
you guys to
Okay.
pick.
Okay. So that's
And then I'll
5.
do the poll.
Yep.
Okay. Did you guys do a poll for the Lethal Weapon and Lethal Weapon 1?
Yeah. So,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so
Okay.
that- Yeah. We
I
did that
see you
poll
pay
in the
attention to my
last
YouTube.
one. Yeah.
I just got off a show, dude. Damn show. Almost went 3 hours like you.
I'm telling you, that's the perfect length for a live stream. It just is.
Especially with
Usually
four,
you want to pick
especially
a
with
day.
4 motherfuckers on it.
Yeah. All right, Allison. You got anything you want to see? PNC, you still here? You want to see anything?
Let me think. I want to think too.
I'm gonna put one up that I don't know who's heard of this or not, but I'm gonna
Aliens Part 2.
put up Billy Jack.
Man, that's so old.
Yeah, it is. It's the first PTSD movie that was ever made.
Okay, Billy Jack and Aliens. I vote for Aliens. I put
Okay,
as
you
one of
want
the picks, as one of the choices.
Yeah,
Yes.
Aliens is a great choice. I love Aliens. That's
Game
one of my
over, man.
favorites.
Game over.
Over.
So there's 3 more to pick from. There's
Okay.
at least 3 people still watching, right?
Is there?
There's at least
I
Allison.
know
and
Alex and
PNC.
PNC are.
I don't
Allison
know who
talking
else.
about Doggy.
Yeah. She wants to see cats and dogs. Is that what she wants?
Beastmaster, dude. Oh, man.
Beastmaster, man.
Beastmaster.
Nice one.
Beastmaster.
All right.
I used to watch that every time it came on, dude.
You just want to see a shirtless man, don't you?
So what?
I was talking
Dog.
to Allison, not you, but I see you do too. So.
Hey, it's sexy.
Yes.
Hey, that was He-Man to me, dude. Beastmaster was He-Man to me.
No, he's always Mike Donovan.
Conan.
Oh, Conan the Barbarian. Do that one.
Well, you gotta let other people pick.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Unless if no one else picks, and then you can have a second one.
That's what I'm saying. No one's saying shit.
I ain't
Come on,
doing
PNC. I know you got a movie out there, PNC. Come on. I know you got something.
PNC. I mean, who else is in here? Let me see. Who you guys have in here? Bruce and Palpatine and
What? We got 12 people watching, right? Something? 9 still watching, maybe?
we should come out with 5 movies if there's 12 people still watching.
We
Toxic
always have
Avenger.
this. Like,
PNC picks Toxic Avenger.
Allison, HBO. Hey, Beastmaster's on. That's what it stood for, HBO.
all right, one more to pick, guys.
Let's do. Well,
What do we got?
I already picked that Aliens and Beastmaster, so
Well, you know what? I already know what's going to win the poll. I'm just saying.
I know too.
Yeah.
It's got Michael Biehn in it.
Yeah. I'm gonna meet him in September. Finally.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Just don't talk about Mandalorian.
Yeah. I'm not gonna talk about Mandalorian. I want to hear about good stuff.
We still
Okay,
need
I
one
did
more.
not order.
You can't watch an 80s movie without seeing Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton in it together. Almost every one of them, they're in it together.
Mhm.
All right, First Blood.
Ooh!
Flash.
This is gonna be hard.
You know what? Sorry. Okay, PNC, you already got yours, so we're
Flash
gonna
Gordon, GJ Five Ash, what's up? He just
Yeah,
said
Flash
Gordon.
Gordon. Flash. Oh.
Ah, he
Save
saved
me.
every one of us. It's gonna be a mess with me and Maston on this shit. It's gonna be a mess.
You just gotta watch your swearing. All right.
The first
Venom's-
15, the first 10
First
minutes,
15 minutes. Once you get past the first 15, you're all right.
and then we're fucking going off.
It still gives you that little
It depends on the words.
It gives you on what? Because on your punk on Punk on Mondays, you cussing up a storm. So what you talking about?
Marco Ruiz. Marco, you haven't been paying attention. We already did that one.
Oh yeah,
that one was already done.
Marcos, come on now,
You
brother.
want to watch it again?
You can go watch our replay.
DJ5, Flash Gordon of First Blood. Oh my God, I'm reading right now the story of John Rambo before First Blood. It is so awesome.
How did you get that?
Oh, dude, online it's free. It's free online, Matthew. It's free.
Dude,
I'll show you. I'll send you the link.
I ordered it straight from Chuck Dixon, man. I got that one and the Troutman story.
No, this might be something else. These were written in Italy in Italian, and now he's it's the time of he was a soldier. It's the time when he went to go for the Green Berets. He met Troutman, and he's all those guys that he remember. Troutman calls him on the radio. Danforth, Krakauer, He's with all those dudes. It's so awesome, dude. Oh my gosh.
So Chuck Dixon wrote the official version from Sly, from Stallone, and he put it in graphic novel format, and it's coming out in the next couple months. And then a buddy of mine wrote a smaller single issue that is basically Troutman's origin story also. So you've got Troutman's and Rambo's origin stories in comic book format done by Chuck Dixon, which you can still get if you look up the Indiegogo.
Damn.
It's awesome.
Okay, so did we get 5? Lawrence, did we get 5 already?
Yeah, we got 5.
Got Billy Jack, which has no chance of winning.
No.
So Billy Jack will get 1 vote.
There's a sweet snippet on YouTube that I watched from Billy Jack. I'm gonna take this foot right here. I'm gonna put it in that side of your face right there.
What is it?
Billy Jack is. Go ahead.
Dude, he's a badass. He's a Native American Vietnam vet. He comes back from the war, and he's dealing with all kinds of racism in this small white town that he walks into that's near one of the reservations, and they're taking advantage of the native populations, and he goes and takes his shoes off and kicks the shit out of everybody.
He's almost like Kane from Kung Fu, dude.
Yeah, because it's an overblown martial art called Hapkido. But anyway, it's about
Hapkido.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's got some great martial arts fight scenes in it, and it is truly a first PTSD story because he's got like a 4-movie arc where he goes through this whole journey, and it really is like the Rambo before Rambo because it was done, I don't know, 6 or 7 years before Rambo was.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got Billy Jack, Aliens 2, Beastmaster, Toxic Avenger, and Flash Gordon.
Yep. Do not put
First Blood. Not First Blood.
Do not put Aliens 2 on
it's Aliens.
Aliens.
It's Aliens.
I just put 2 after it, so I wouldn't. Okay. I know it's called Aliens because there's multiple aliens in it, not one alien. I know.
The first one was called Alien, the second one Aliens.
I get that.
Yeah, the only reason First Blood isn't in there is because PNC already put in his vote.
Flash Gordon.
His first one was Toxic Avenger. That was the first one he put in.
Unless if you want First Blood, PNC, you can get one or the other. You don't get both.
Yeah.
PNC, put one PNC. I don't know which one I'm voting for. I don't want to watch Toxic Avenger, dude. Don't have me talking about Toxic Avenger. You want me talking First Blood, baby. Ooh.
Dude, PNC, I've got so much alien stuff, it's not even funny. And you know what? If you take those lanyard figures and you drop them in some black grit dye, they look amazing. Even like the bright yellow one, it turns to this like goldish kind of color, but you still keep all the stripes and stuff on the head. And the white one turns a really nice brownish, dark black kind of sheen to it. They look phenomenal. I love aliens. a lot.
Yeah,
Aliens.
the third one is just very woke with the queen.
What?
And
Oh yeah.
Dude, Lawrence,
so
you don't even use that
any
word
movie now with a
properly.
woman is just woke to me.
Oh God,
You
stop.
stop using the word, man. You don't even know what.
That means
Was there a
yeah, that
woman
means
in it?
Aliens is really woke because that's what Sigourney kicked ass.
Now here's the question: the director's cut of Alien 3 or the theatrical cut of Alien 3? Because there's an ultimate version of it that was the original storyboards where they changed some major plot points in the whole movie.
Oh shit.
I remember seeing that one in the theater, and I was so disappointed. I was
Oh, how come you haven't done Predator yet? Predator's another good one.
Well, because we did Commando, and people didn't vote for Predator. I think when we put it up, I think we might have had that. In the
Oh,
vote
you
one
did
time.
put it up.
If you remember, the whole purpose of this was to do like. The whole purpose of this.
You didn't
was
remember?
to do, like little, like shitty B movies. Yeah,
And now we're getting like cool ass movies.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
mind,
what
I'm
people
just-
are voting for when they
We'll
pop up.
talk about those at length and really in depth. The real cool movies. I don't want to talk about shitty B. Well, I get it though. Well, Warriors wasn't a shitty B movie. It was awesome.
We did Big Trouble in Little China a few
Yeah,
weeks
Lawrence, we
ago.
talked about that 5 minutes ago. We
No.
already talked about that.
He put it
Did
in
you
again.
say it again?
No, that's the first time he put it in.
Oh,
What?
That's the one I highlighted earlier when I started talking about it.
No, it's in twice. That's why I highlighted and mentioned it again.
oh.
I only see it in there once. Oh no, he did.
It's there twice.
They put Chasing Amy in there.
I remember watching that movie and that was a hilarious movie.
Ben Affleck thought he can change her. He did for a while.
When we are going for the lesbian crowd, we will definitely do Chasing.
Snoochie Boochies. Who the fuck talk like that? That is fucking baby talk.
Well, they were high.
Pretty lesbian. That's like the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. And
It's been a long time since I've seen Chasing Amy.
That was good. That was one of the first ones I was introduced to with View Askew and all them dudes. That was the first one I ever watched. I'm like, what? I didn't watch what's it called? The Clerks. Yeah, I had to go back and watch that.
I think the first one I saw was Mallrats, which is
First one I saw was Chasing Amy.
Technically, it's the first one in the timeline, but the second movie that he made.
Yeah, Mallrats was my first, but that was all because of Jason Lee.
Yeah, me too. Jason Lee and
I
Stanley.
love Jason Lee. Skater.
But I only saw it because I noticed Jason Lee and I knew that he was a pro skateboarder.
Yep.
So then I
Badass
watched.
skateboarder.
He hadn't done anything yet.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we got our 5.
We got the
Got
5.
notes. And then next week, Lawrence, who's your roundtable talk with?
Next week, Thursday, for Thursday with a Friend, we will have PNC
Nice.
and games and more and different things like that.
Finger cuffs.
Yeah, finger cuffs.
Yeah, so I will be talking with PNC.
Awesome.
Which I'm very interested to find out. I've actually never talked to him in real life, so we have not done Total Recall yet, and that is one I would love to get into because I think there's a lot of good lines.
Which Total Recall? The Colin Farrell or the Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I don't hate the remake.
No, I don't. I didn't either.
I didn't either. It got a lot of hate, but it stuck closer to the actual story that it's based off of. Whereas Arnold movies, totally different, but I love it too. It's just like the Judge Dredd and Dredd. I love both of those movies too.
But I also didn't hate the RoboCop remake either.
I didn't hate that, but I love RoboCop.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the first RoboCop. I love, and then the remake. I actually thought brought a lot more humanity to the character,
It
the
did,
family,
dude.
and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff. I did enjoy those aspects of that one too. And
That
the
one-
actor who played him, I love that dude. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. It was a trip when they were taking out his parts, and
Yep.
you see his mental just go like, "Oh my god, that's how I would feel." I'd be like, "Just kill me." Oh my god.
And I'm glad that they did that because they showed the humanity or the dehumanization of what's happening to you and the shock that you have with that, man. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
That put me in that place, and I'm like, "Oh no, oh my god." You have
Yeah.
one lung, and your brain. That's all he had.
What I loved about the RoboCop remake was the fact that they showed the original RoboCop in it. Like that was
They
supposed to be
did?
that. Well, it wasn't RoboCop, but that body, that suit is.
I love that suit, the way they did it too. I love that. I wish he would have kept that. The black one, I'm like, eh.
But,
Yeah.
but they show it and they basically say like it's too bulky and
Yeah.
it can't move. They show the 209 or whatever, was it 209 or whatever it was. So you see them because that was supposed to be I believe the original design of what they were going to use.
What was the actor of the guy that was taking his parts away? He's awesome. What's his name? The doctor.
In the
Yeah.
remake. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that movie in a while. I can't think of who it is. But yeah,
Is that
no,
my
there's
sound or
a lot of
Matson's sound? It sounds funky.
I don't know, it might be mine.
Okay, all right. What's his name, dude? He was in The Professional, the crazy, the leader of the cops. He's Commissioner Gordon
Gary
for
Oldman.
Gary
Oldman,
Oldman.
yeah.
Gary Oldman, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say again. Should I type it? Maybe I'll text it.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
I mean, I text you stuff,
Tony,
but since you,
I really think it's your feedback, Tony, that you're getting in your system because Lawrence and I didn't have this problem all night.
yeah. Well, I mean, Tony was on with Travis, but he probably didn't get a word in with Travis, so he doesn't know if he has feedback.
Here's your feedback. No. Man. Send me
Colin Farrell's face is too punchable. All right, Allison, I see how
Allison hate me.
All right, guys. Tony, what you got coming up? Anything besides our streaming? You got any other streams coming up?
No, because they're doing ATKM. It's like Travis Moody at night, with just him and Bobby, not me or KJ. And then the Wednesday after that, not me and KJ. I got a 24-hour shift on Saturday and a 24-hour shift on that Wednesday, so not me for 2 shows. So I'm like,
All right.
you do it. So then that Thursday, when are you leaving?
Oh, I'm leaving the Friday, in 2 Fridays from now.
Oh, okay.
So
right after we do our show, he's leaving.
yeah. Like I said, I'll be packing
Lethal
and
Weapon.
making sure.
Yep. Lethal
So,
Weapon. That's
but I do have
your homework
so
assignment.
we have PNC that. But yeah, we have PNC. But hey, this Monday is the for Monday Night Toy Ramblings. We're going a little late because it is the end of the HasLab, which will be far past it anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And
So,
and I'm on shift that day, so I'll be watching from work again.
all right, we'll just keep it rolling. Let's break 100 viewers this time. We've hit 100 viewers one time, but this
That'd
is
be
the
badass.
HasLab. This is the HasLab, and I know there'll be other people that want to go on and break into my time slot, but it's my time.
I'm just a guest. I'm just a recurring guest. So
Man,
No one is a recurring guest on Monday Night Toy Ramblings.
I went and got it.
Yeah. I couldn't find any at my stores. They were all sold out of them.
This is freaking cool. I got it because Baldy. And I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
no
it's right there. It's $5. It's like,
box, man.
Dude, this is awesome, dude. I have an empty spot on these 3D tops. So I can just have a cookout.
Right, you can find us all on Instagram also, Punk with Toys and Tony's Figs and Mamu's Action Figure Blog. So we appreciate you guys. If you come check us out on Instagram, come check out our videos, comment, share, like, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good evening, guys.
Peace out, guys.